Welcome back to the Not Fancy League. As always, I'm Rob,
And I'm Tyler.
and we are coming at you post Week 13, pre-Ketchup Week. You're right, it is finally here. The Ketchup Week is upon us, and let's just say I don't think it could have gone better. We got 4 teams fighting for 2 spots, really 5 teams fighting for 3 when it comes down to it. We'll get into all of that and more later, so let's just get right into this. So here's the standings. Any thoughts immediately here, Tyler? And anything we want to clean up from last week?
I mean, it's going to be a real fun one, like you talked about.
Yeah.
4 teams biting in. We had some confusion how, the standard still have a shot, but there's a path, we believe.
Yes.
So is ESPN. PDL or post Dookie Lamar still has a shout. But yeah, no, I mean, half the leagues, or over half the league still in it. It's going to be fun.
Yes, it is. And that's exactly what I wanted out of this Ketchup Week. The draft went pretty easy, except for the fact that my dad was just busy for 2 hours and just didn't take the first pick. But he had the first pick. He took Team Arias. Dookie Lamar took Field of Dreams. That's kind of how it worked. Those are our 2 matchups, which are really, really big. So before we get into all of these games, we're going to go over the playoff scenarios for each of these teams. So the first 2 are obvious. Fields of Dreams, in with a win. Team Arias, in with a win. They got the 2 highest percentages is because they control their own destiny right now. They win, they're in. As for post Dookie Lamar to get in, they need to win and need Team Arias to lose. That's all that it is. They are in if that happens. The standard is in with a win, a Fields of Dreams, a Where's DeMarco Murray loss, and a post Dookie Lamar loss. Then they're in. We believe that that's true. We sat down and we talked about it. Might not be 100%. But those are the playoff scenarios as of right now.
Yeah, really confusing, especially for the standard. It probably took 25 minutes, 30 minutes just figuring out the standard alone. ESPN doesn't tell you either how it works, so we kind of just... Because there's no second tiebreaker.
So it's points 4, but his points 4 weren't up to par. We're not totally sure if that's the case. Don't quote us on it for sure.
Yeah.
But we're pretty sure. We're thinking.
We'll find out next week.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So just to clean up a little bit from last week, Team Squigs did lose. They're out of the playoffs. Sad news for Team Squigs. Great interview with him last week that we couldn't hear. But yeah, he's officially out. So let's go from there.
Yeah, so now we'll go to the L's of the week, and I had Jalen Waddle. Rob, why don't we start with your team? You had a unique one. Why don't we start with yours?
Yeah, I kind of just brought it up. My L of the week was just Team Squigs in general. Their team actually had a very good week. They dropped 150 points, but they lost a close one to the Rock Springs Football Club, and they are officially out of the playoffs. Not really anyone in particular's fault, just that he was playing a really, really good team in the Rock Springs Football Club.
Yeah, it was an interesting story, and it got him eliminated. But what I had is Jalen Waddle with 1.9 points. He did. We'll go previewing last week's games, but it didn't really matter that much. But it's still a stinker with Jalen Waddle only getting 2 points.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that post Dookie Lamar not only lost, got blown out this week. So that's why they are in the situation they are right now, deep in the thick of the Ketchup Week and all that it brings. So moving on to our MVP of the week, I chose Jalen Hurts, MVP just in general this week, and MVP overall in the NFL. I think he took over that number 1 spot for the MVP award. He looked awesome. Didn't even run the ball at all. Threw it all over the field. Team Blassie was our number 1 scoring team this last week, pretty much because of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown just both being awesome.
Yeah, A.J. Brown got his former GM fired, and A.J. And Jalen Hurts were throwing it in places just only where the receiver could get it or nobody could get it. Just smart passes.
Yeah.
I don't think really elite.
Yeah. Go.
For my MVP, I had the Cleveland Browns defense / special teams.
Yes.
I believe they got all the team's points last game with 31 points. Just hell of a week.
Yeah.
Most points on the roster this week for Rock Springs.
This is sort of unrelated, but in the other, I made a version of a sleeper league, like how ESPN has a league. There's a platform called Sleeper, and I was using it to test things out, and I messed with a bunch of the points, and it is 900 points per defensive touchdown. So if your team gets a defensive touchdown that week, you're just going to win. And then Cleveland went out and dropped 2,700 points last week because that's just what it was. So the Cleveland defense absolutely dominated. 31 points just in general this week. I'm gonna say that's another reason why Team Squigs lost. You're not accounting for 31 points from the defense. Heck, if the defense gets 15 points, Team Squigs wins and they're still in the playoffs. So that's a tough loss right there. To just had the Cleveland defense right there in your face, done for the year. Looking on to next year, Team Squigs.
Yeah. Now we're going to go into just a Week 13 recap. We already talked about some of the games. One we haven't talked to, the Standard versus myself, the Danger Wish.
Mm-hmm.
I really outperformed myself with tanking. Got a new one with 69.66 points.
It's pretty good.
Really went balls to the wall on it. The Standard had a respectful 144 points.
Yeah, the Standard stays hot. I guess all that Christian Watson money was probably rightfully placed. He looks pretty good.
Yeah.
He keeps scoring touchdowns. And just because we haven't really talked about it, we're just going to give the Standard a moment right now. They've won 5 games in a row. They had a 2% chance to make the playoffs a few weeks ago. They're sitting at 23%. We went over the scenario in which they get in. Like, very, very impressive stuff. I thought that they were long gone, long out, and they still have a crack in here this very final week, which is just very, very impressive because it's from guys like Watson and Jacobs that have just been outperforming our previous thoughts of them, our Standard. I don't know.
Yeah, the Standard is really just a story of like don't give up. Like I mean, we kind of did pretty early, but like if he makes the playoffs, he gets his money back for the dues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a story for you're kind of never out of it until you're really out of it.
Yeah, it has been impressive. So moving on to Team Ayers versus Money Manziel, another not very interesting game. Amon-Ra St. Brown's pretty good. I was trying to go full tank. You can see my lineup. Really, no one there did anything. That's what we're looking for right now. We're not looking for points. We're looking for no points.
Yeah, I mean these games are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
me and you were trying to compete who had less points.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I mean Amon looked good. That was something to look forward to for Team Ayers if he makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
It might be nervous though. If Aaron Jones is injured. I don't know what the status on that. If he's healthy now.
Yeah, I don't totally know either, but
yeah, it'd be interesting what will happen now with going into the playoffs. Going to our third game, we had Field of Dreams versus Team Velocity. Team Velocity, a 3-10 team, but probably one of the hardest teams to compete against, dropping 173 points against Field of Dreams, 113.
Yeah, he definitely could have played spoiler this week if somebody picked him, but I think people in the Ketchup week were trying to avoid him because he could bring an upset, and he ended up not getting picked. And then he's playing Team Squigs in the all-time no one cares about this game bowl because it doesn't affect anything. But yeah, he drops 173, most points this week in Week 13, and he only has 3 wins, which just blows me away. He has really, really good players on his team. It just never really came together for Team Velocity this year.
I mean, we'll probably do maybe one all-season video, but if we do that sleepers or somebody, I mean, he has a good young team that I think could make noise next season.
For sure. I mean, they're making noise in Week 13 right now, which is almost what you want. That's what you want as a young team, is to be making noise, and that's exactly what they're doing. So moving on to the Rock Springs Football Club versus Team Squigs. We kind of talked about this game a couple times already. Just going to throw up the full game recap again right here. Just Rock Springs Football Club's pretty good. Tyreek Hill's pretty good. Terry McLaurin's pretty good. That defense is pretty good.
Yeah, Rock Springs is one of those teams where the Mahomes, where we kind of get over talked about when we bring up the Blasi just dropping points. They just consistently get 160.
Yeah,
they're just a juggernaut.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just a team not to face.
Yeah, and then
teams. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about Team Squigs. I was going to move on to the last game.
Go ahead.
So yeah, moving on to what was our game of the week last week had playoff implications. Where's DeMarco Murray pretty much cemented themselves into the playoffs. Almost 100%. We couldn't figure out what the 90 percentile thing was, but pretty much where's DeMarco Murray's in, almost no matter what, because of this win against post Dookie Lamar. So he's sitting 8-5. Duke and Lamar 7-6, and just kind of a dud week from post Duke and Lamar. We don't get a lot of those, but just no one did anything. The Lamar Jackson injury hurts, but I guess he's got Tua.
Yeah, Lamar. Yeah, that's why he kept him. Now he has 4 quarterbacks, but 2 of them are injured, so now you got the other 2 going in, and it'll be interesting if he gets in, because if his quarterbacks go off, he can get some wins. So that'll be a good one going to. Now let's go to the Egg Bowl standings. We forgot to mention them last week. We'll show them up right here. But Rob's sitting at a 28 wins with 17 losses. While I'm looking at with my 35 wins
okay.
to 10 losses.
So
right now we're looking
I
at...
got to go nuclear right now.
Yeah, so I'm looking at 7 cartons of eggs throwing at you.
So it's cartons of eggs. All right.
Okay, cool.
I don't
You
know what that
accept
is.
that?
I don't even know what that is. No, it's not cartons of eggs. I'll take my 7 eggs to the chest,
Yeah,
to the dome.
7 eggs. Probably the most fun video we'll make in coming weeks. But yeah, now we'll go to the look for the preview of Week 14. We got Where's DeMarco versus the Danger Witch. Rob?
So Alex specifically picked you to guarantee himself a win. Probably a good idea because no one's taking harder than you, except for the fact that you're actually fielding a pretty strong lineup this week. Just because this game doesn't really matter to you. If anything, you're going to try to play spoiler. I'm all for it. Just mess with his head.
Yeah, because in the playoffs it's going to be me and Blassie because you have 2 games over me. So in the losers bracket it's going to be me or Blassie. We're going to play each other first round. So it really doesn't matter. And then we were talking to Alex before recording. He really doesn't want me to play anybody, so he picked some of the ones that was kind of hee-hawing on. So now if he does lose because he picked the wrong players, that'll make it even better.
I think you should throw Kyler in there, Tyler. I think you should put Kyler in over Jameson Williams. Just actually try to beat him. I think it'd be so funny if you beat him and it messed everything up.
I think it would be too, but if he picked the players and still gets it wrong, then it'd be even better.
Yeah, that is also true. Like, what if Jameson just goes crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go to the second game. Rock Springs football.
We're making picks. I'm going to go Where's DeMarco Murray.
Yep.
I'm going to go Where's DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, that's
okay.
why. Yeah, I'm going to go Where's DeMarco as well. So, sorry. We'll go to the second game. Rock Springs Football Club versus Money Manziel. Why don't you go ahead and take that one?
I'm going to go with Rock Springs Football Club. I am full tank. You can see my roster right here. It is atrocious. I don't know. I guess I'm just really going all the way to the bottom at this point, trying to stay as low as I possibly can, which is a difficult thing to do because you need a minimum of 5 points. So my selections of players are anyone that's around 5 points.
Yeah, no, I'm picking Rock Springs Football Club. We don't really need to spend much time on this game.
Yeah. So moving on to Squigs versus Team Blassie. This, as we said, was the game that does not affect anything at all. There are no implications on this game in any way. Do we even pick?
I mean, I got one. You want me to go ahead and pick first? I'm
going to go...
fade me?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I picked Blassie.
I'll go Squigs.
Okay, there we go.
All right. And then this is the first time ever, I think it is very, very fitting. 2 game of the weeks. I think you know what they are. This is where we're going to focus all of our attention is on these 2 games right now. So we're going to spend a little bit more time on these because they're very, very important. So we're going to start with the Standard versus Team Arius. And what I want to do here, Tyler, is I want you to go through each position group and pick who you think is going to win that position group. And then whoever has more position group wins is who you're going to pick as your winner of this game.
Okay, so we're going to do quarterbacks and OPs just combined as one because they both have quarterbacks there. Josh Allen's over Dak. And honestly, Deshaun over Trevor Lawrence?
No
maybe?
way. No way.
Trevor Lawrence is...
It's your picks. It's your picks.
It is my pick.
Yeah.
The reason I think Watson figures out more, I guess, and then T-Law is just a gamble. So, and I think Josh Allen's just significantly better than everybody else.
So you got 2 position groups for Team Arius right now.
Yeah. Then James Conner and Tony Pollard over... I don't really like both these. I'm going to go running backs for the Standard just because Josh Jacobs.
All right, 2v2.
Not a huge fan of
2v2.
them.
Or I guess 1v1. Receivers versus receivers.
Tight end, I'm going to just quickly go T.J. Hawkinson over
Probably a
K.
good pick. The only thing is I was talking to my dad of the Standard, and K. Dotton had 10 targets last week, which is a lot of targets.
Watch out.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to go T.J. Hawkinson.
Probably. So 2v1.
And then wide receivers, because we're trying to... T. Higgins and DK versus Amra and Devontae. I'm going to go with Arias on that one as well.
Really? I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's a close one. But...
So I'm going to go quarterbacks, Team Arias, running backs, the Standard. I'm going to go receivers, the Standard. I think Devontae's kind of hit or miss. T. Higgins and DK are 2 pretty good receivers. Tight ends, TJ, and then everything else, flex, defense, and kicker, I'm going to go Team Arias as well. They got Tucker, the Niners defense, and Raheem Mostert I think is better than Juju. I don't know. It's very even. It's going to be a very even game. They got
it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, for sure. Like there's a lot riding on this. So there's our preview of that game. So
who are you going to pick?
I'm going to go with the Standard.
Okay,
I'm going to ride the hot hand. So there we go. All right, and then moving on to Fields of Dreams versus Post Dookie Lamar. Probably going to be one of our also very, very important games this week. It is one of our very important games this week. So let's just start with the quarterbacks. I think it's obvious.
3, 2, 1.
Post-Dookie Lamar. PDL. So, yeah, to me that's obvious. Running backs, I think it's obvious as well. Austin Eckler and Zeke over Saquon and Ramondre.
Oh, really?
I think it's obvious.
With Swift, though? They have Swift
Saquon's playing Philly, so they're going to shut him down. That's my thought process on it.
But are you going to count the flex as a running back as well? Because he has Swift playing.
Swift doesn't do anything. All of his touchdowns go to Jamal.
That is true.
So.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you're probably right. You are probably right on Field of Dreams.
Oh, man.
Right.
He has so many guys on buys. Just look at Field of Dreams' bench right here. We'll throw it back up. Kamara, Rodgers, Montgomery, Lazard, all on a buy. That's a tough time for a buy. Here. Yeah.
You did convince me. Field of Dreams does have the running backs.
Receivers, I'm going to go with Field of Dreams as well.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah. Tight end,
yeah.
Field of Dreams. Dalton Schultz actually is playing Houston. So
I'm going to go post-Dookie Lamar just because.
I'm going to go Kittle. And then defense, kicker, and flex. I don't get the Njoku thing. Maybe he goes off. Maybe he has a touchdown. I don't know. To me, he's better than DeAndre Swift. So I'm going to go Fields of Dreams again. So I'm on Fields of Dreams on every position group except for quarterbacks.
Yeah. I was going into this thinking post-Dookie Lamar, and now we talked about bracket, and I want to go Field of Dreams. And I don't know, by your system, do I have to pick whoever picked more, or do I can pick whoever?
I guess you could pick whoever. I feel like you picked more post-Dookie Lamar than you did Fields of Dreams.
I did. So I'm going to go PDL.
Okay, PDL versus Field of Dreams. So there you go. There's your two games. We're really, really highlighting a lot of implications in these games. I have a feeling they're going to be very, very close. Please tune in to next week's video when we're going to recap all of these. It's going to be very, very exciting, I think. Do you got anything else here, Tyler?
No, just excited for some fantasy football.
Playoffs, yeah. So for our playoff preview next week, we'll try to have one of the playoff teams on. We'll see who it is. It'll probably be one of the winners of these two games, either Team Arias or the Standard or post-Dookie Lamar or Fields of Dreams to have on next week, just to talk about what it was like going through this process of the catch-up week and everything that was kind of tied to it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah, that's what we got. As always, best roast gets $5. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.